A lot has been made about the physical that Michael Jackson allegedly took back in March and allegedly passed. What do you know about the physical and about the results of that physical?
Okay, I know it wasn't alleged. I was there. I mean, I wasn't at the physical, but I was there when it came back. Okay, a doctor named David Slavitt out of New York, it's the first time I think anyone's heard his name, was hired by the insurance carriers to come out here. He gave Michael a pretty grueling 5-hour physical and did all the tests. And we were never privy to the patient-doctor information, which we wouldn't be. But our insurance broker told us that Michael passed with flying colors, were the words, and that all he had was a little hay fever.
All right, so there must have been blood and urine analysis, no hint in that physical, as far as you knew, of any drug use, either systematic or recent?
As far as we were told, okay, and we got an insurance policy because of the physical. And you know what? Lloyd's of London would not have given us a policy if there was something wrong in that physical.
Fine. So there must have been blood and urine analysis. No hint in that physical, as far as you knew, of any drug use, either systematic or recent.
As far as we were told, okay, and we got an insurance policy because of the physical. You know, Lloyd's of London would not have given us a policy if there was something wrong in that physical.
You saw him before, during, and after rehearsals for weeks and weeks on end.
Yes.
Did any of you ever see any hint that Michael Jackson was relying on or using prescription medication for himself? Not just, you know, an aspirin here and there after a tough workout or an Advil or something, but something that alarmed any of you.
Okay. Well, I probably had the most one-on-one meetings with him,
Yeah.
discussing business aspects of this, and his acuity was there. He looked me in the eye. He understood everything I was talking about. He was very engaged. So, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a drug rehab specialist, but I could not tell if he was taking painkillers or other medications, as they say. Now, in my dealings with him, okay, he was spot on and very engaged. Okay, my problem with him was he didn't like to work as hard as I thought he needed to work. Okay, and the truth is, Mike, the truth, he didn't need to. He had like muscle memory when he got on that stage and started dancing. And that Tuesday night that the guys are talking about, okay, and this is a tight family. That Tuesday night, I was crying. I don't want anyone in the business to know that, but it was so amazing. Okay, I had goosebumps. That's the reality. That's the Michael I remember.
Nobody else saw any hint. I mean, you guys, again, we were talking before about the difficulty of being a person in your 50s, you know.
Well, once again, I'm just going to echo what Randy said. None of us are doctors and none of us are specialists, so nobody knows. But to do this job, you have to be acute. You have to be steadfast in your conviction in doing it, and to be altered in any state, it would just prove that you couldn't do it. It's just funny. Our problem with MJ was, once again, what Randy said. He didn't, you know, we wanted him to work harder. We were having a meeting Tuesday night, the technical, looking at film and looking at the thing, and during this whole big, you know, fantastic thing that we're doing, technical, important thing, he's leaning over to me, and we're talking about the Three Stooges.
First of all, on behalf of AEG Live in the O2 Arena, this was a very, very tough decision to make. And I know the press are going to be looking for all kinds of reasons as to why, you know, as opposed to accepting what we say now. But and that's their jobs. But the truth is, okay, the show has grown in scope and complexity, size. Kenny can answer questions about the production and the rigging issues and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, one, when we went on sale, we really didn't have the show, and which I said at the press conference when we announced it, that the show is still in the process. It's a work in progress. It still is. Okay. The one thing we needed is we needed more time in the O2, in the arena, to work. The arena is incredibly busy. We couldn't move Madonna, James Taylor, any shows to make room for our pre-production rehearsals. Okay, so that's the bottom line. The real reason is we needed those 5 days in the O2 to do it. He's doing Footloose. He's directing Footloose for Paramount, and we had to work out his schedule. So we started a little later than we would have liked to. Kenny, you want to say anything?
That's really it. We have a massive production that is in the process of being built and developed and rehearsed. And, the original plan would have put us into the O2 for one night before we opened to the world. And as I became involved and heard what was, going on in Michael's mind and heart and what he wanted this to be, it just wasn't practical, for all kinds of reasons, for safety reasons and for professional reasons. We want to open with confidence and securely. and with integrity, and give the fans, the best right at the top.
Do you expect the show dates will keep on changing?
No.
Okay.
This is the one-time event. But to be honest, and I've always been honest with the press, we're doing 50 shows over close to 6 months. Okay, if Michael were to get ill and we had to move a date or reschedule, that's possible. But there are no plans, no nefarious promoter or director plans to change the schedule of the show, other than getting us some more time in the beginning to rehearse so that we give the fans what the show really is and what they deserve.
What is the latest on Michael's health?
You want to take that? I'll take that. I'll start, okay? And not that I'm a doctor, okay? But Michael, like I said, I would trade my body for his tomorrow. He's in fantastic shape. And, word to chief, and I've refuted all the crazy stories. He's not sleeping with elephants. He's not dying of skin cancer. Every day there's another story. I've never seen anything like that. He's a magnet for these weird stories that people make up. Okay, but as far as really talking about his health, his director can answer that question better than I can.
No, I just say that physically and mentally, we're having a blast. We really are. We're having a great time. This is a high time for Michael. He's enjoying this. He comes into work every day with great enthusiasm and ideas, and he's loving the creative process, the creative jousting, that goes on, with the creative team and the development of ideas, and we're having a great time. We've got a fantastic a group of people that we're working with. Michael Curry, who designed The Lion King and Ka and some of the ideas for Le Rêve and Love with the Cirque du Soleil, and Patrick Woodruff, the Rolling Stones lighting designer, and Michael Cotton, who did Dangerous and History production design for Michael. Michael Bearden, who was worked with Janet Jackson and Madonna, musical director. A fantastic organization of people. There's just a tremendous amount of good energy and a real commitment. And excitement by everyone. So we're having a great time. Michael's in great shape and loving it as much, if not more, than anyone.
So does the date change have anything to do with Michael Jackson or his reported health?
It's not. He's fine.
No, it absolutely. For those of you I know who I can't see, look me in the eye. It absolutely has nothing to do with his health categorically, okay? The reason Kenny and I are here doing this today is because we know this is a major upheaval for a lot of fans who bought tickets, and we take it seriously, and we wanted to be here to answer these questions.
Let me say that I came in, a little late in the game, that the concerts were booked, and we were really trying to work out, my arrangement, and then getting involved, we really didn't know where we were going to go. And as it is, I think that I've come to this experience having done quite a few experiences, from 2 Olympic ceremonies and 3 Super Bowls and some pretty large productions, including being Michael's collaborative partner on History and Dangerous and a number of other projects. So once you get in the soup and you start to look at the hardware, and you start to look at the stunts, and you start to look at what's required of the vendors, of the creative team. And as a director, it's your responsibility. I know what the fans are looking forward to seeing, and I want Michael to be delivered to them in great confidence and with a feeling of security. And so these choices were made purely based on the practical needs and the responsible needs of putting up a first-class production.
We're hoping that by announcing now this far in advance of the first show, we're giving everybody enough time to change their hotels, change their travel plans, and those who are lucky enough to have tickets, we really do not want them to miss this spectacle.